Good evening, everyone. So, on my path of catching up with all of the numerous of webtoons that I have missed out on, trust me, it's a lot of them, but we're making our process slowly but surely. But one of the webtoons that I did catch up with was Unordinary. And Unordinary is kind of a nice topic to talk about because one, it's so popular, and three, people have all their theories, which we're going to get into. But I have one thing to say after finally catching up to Unordinary. I'm a tad disappointed about what is going on. Now, I'm going to say this now before all the legions of fans come out there and just click this video and hit the dislike. I'm not saying that just because I'm disappointed in what's going on doesn't mean that the author is doing bad. She's actually doing a great job. But again, we're going to get into all that in a little bit. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with the plot. I'm not saying that it's a bad webtoon. It doesn't mean that I'm going to stop reading it, etc., or I'm going to bash it. I'm just saying that there are certain things, what the characters are doing, and the overall plot that is just a tad disappointing, especially after everything that's been going on. But again, I'm going far ahead of myself. Let's get on to why I find it disappointing. Let's talk about what's going on currently, which is 120. It's something like that. So what is going on is this. Remy is becoming a superhero in order to attract Amber, because she believes that Amber is closely linked to killing of superheroes, those who are fighting for justice, power, hierarchy. You get the point. And boy, we have a lot to talk about that whole fight, and it's a little reason why I'm a tad disappointed. Not that, but it's just a lot of things that have been going on with Unordinary so far that is like, yeah. Also, Seraphina still doesn't have her ability, and it's kind of getting her down a little bit. John refuses to make everyone believe that he doesn't have superpowers, and so he's been keeping it under wraps. And just a heads up, John is actually the main thing that I'm going to talk about in majority of this video. So let's begin. The first thing I'm going to say is this. Arlo is probably my favorite character in this entire webtoon by far. I know everyone calls him Aslo, and honestly, you really can't call him that, especially in the current chapters. He's been more adult in this webtoon than probably majority of the entire character whole school that is in Unordinary. And that's a lot to say, Demon, how he first appeared and how he is now to me. And honestly, I'm actually very proud, and I'm actually very happy about his character development from the earlier chapters all the way to the current chapters, because not only has he been mature, he's been level-headed, calm, and cool-minded. And what got me thinking about this is episode 119, or even 120, it's one of those two, where Arlo says, "What is wrong with everyone?" Because here's the thing, this is why this is so powerful. This line is so powerful because everyone who is acting up is all elite. Seraphina, John, Remy, Blake, etc. They're all elites, but it's really ironic in a sense because those who are more elite are the ones acting like all over the place, and Arlo can't understand it. Arlo has done his job and is doing his job as a king to maintain, it's not even about hierarchy at this point, which everyone is hung up on. It's just mainly about, so much other stuff's going on. Like, John is hiding his ability because he wants to be a better person. It's about Remy having feelings about her losing her brother and wants to get revenge on him. It's about Seraphina losing her abilities, and she can't even fend for herself, even though she was the most powerfulest ability user in the entire school and maybe in the entire city. It's all around those aspects. We like to look at the hierarchy of Unordinary, but honestly, it's a lot more to it. If you really dig down deep into the meat of the matter, it's a lot more of personal issues, and it's a lot more of deeper issues that are going on. Hierarchy is just the one thing, and I agree, in the beginning of the chapters was really, really good. and it really pushed Unordinary to another level in which it is now. But right now, what's going on, it's just a lot of personal issues that all these kids have to work out on. And I love that Arlo is trying his best to be like the scale, but it's hard because he's only one person, because he doesn't even know what's going on. Over the course of, I believe, weeks or months, Seraphina has lost her abilities. He got beat by John. He realized that John has powers. Remy is just doing reckless stuff to get herself hurt, and the school is just in utter chaos to be icing on the cake. So when Arlo says, I don't know what's going on with them, but then let's look deeper when he says, I don't know why the high tiers are acting this way, it really goes to show you about just power and possibly how that power can be corrupting. It's like, I feel when we talk about social status, it's like how those who have a lot of money, in a way, sometimes, or not all the cases, but sometimes don't know what to do with the money or the ability that they have, so they act up. And you can clearly see this with all of these characters, which is a lot of my disappointment, because they're acting in such an eccentric way, to put it lightly, that it's chaos. The webtoon is in chaos right now, which is good, because it becomes more and more interesting, and how these things are going to resolve is going to be like pretty amazing. But Arlo is my favorite character because he has been the most adult, and he has been the most level-headed that I possibly have seen so far after the second season has begun. And I can't wait to really see what he does, or I can't wait to see kind of how things resolve, because I think he'll be a better character for it, but only time is going to tell, because we still have Amber, and we still have John hiding his ability, and we still have Seraphina losing her ability. This is all tied in to one thing, and honestly, it's just going to be very interesting that it's going, how it's going to go. John, on the other hand, has been a child, unintelligent, and I can't really believe that he's acting this way. The main reason why he's unintelligent to me is not because of the two people he beat down, which, again, we're going to talk about, but it's more because he, in simplest ways, he's trying to be something that he's not, but he's unaware of the consequences that it's going to bring up with. And I like, again, Arlo is trying to explain to him that if you really like your friend and you really want to be there, then you will protect her and you will be honest with her. But he's not, because he's afraid of his old self. But the issue that I really have is that he hasn't changed. From the moment he released his powers, he's honestly has been not an enjoyable character. Now, I'll admit that his power is interesting to watch in the view, and I know why the author is putting certain scenes and certain parts in the webtoon so we can understand John's power just a little bit more. But at the same time, his character development from the beginning to now, I just don't like. And this is why I don't like it. Because someone was talking with me about Cody and why I don't like Cody. Cody, if you don't know, is the character from Lumini. He's the child that Lumini has been protecting, so-called because of his curse. But the reason why I don't like Lumini is because he consistently pushes people away with really no reason, even though they're trying to reach out to him. John does this to a T. Now, I admit that he has the effects of Arlo, because Arlo betrayed him, but that doesn't mean that a lot of other people haven't tried to reach out to him, because there have been many people in this webtoon, and he just treated them like crap. And then he dares to talk to Blake like, you shot a beam at me, but it's like, well, you literally just slapped my friend, what would you do? Because he knew if he did that to Seraphina, he was going to act up, which he did. Let's get into this. Him beating up two people was quite disturbing, and I honestly got to give praise to the author, because the author just made this uncensored, as he found all the courage, found all the anger, and mollywopped this girl across the school like halls. Like, I was very amazed. He wasted no time. There was no remorse. There was no feeling in the beatdown that this girl got for doing what she did. But here's my thing about the beatdowns. It doesn't change anything. Arlo went to John and told him that if you want to protect Seraphina so much, you're going to change things. And honestly, him secretly going as this vigilante and beating up random people and still not showing his ability, it shows that he hasn't changed. It shows that he hasn't grown. Yes, we understand that his ability made him a power-hungry, crazed freak who has no respect or morals for humanity. But in that case, if he really made himself this cripple to put that personality away, but what has really changed? He hasn't changed. He hasn't done proper with his ability. He hasn't done it like for a while, and now he's just beating up people because he wants to fulfill his rage. It's not even about her because she even wouldn't want that personally. It's really about feeling his conscience because he feels like he has height, which he doesn't have to hide, which is what Arlo is trying to tell him. Part of this hierarchy, if you really want to think it about like that, is because John refuses to do what is right for his friend. And he refuses to do what's right for himself. But him beating up two people just because of what they did to Seraphina, that's not really him defending Seraphina. That's just him quelling his own anger. Which is why I am not liking John's character at the moment, because it's really been about himself. And it hasn't even been about Seraphina. Because what's going to happen when Seraphina realizes that John has been playing this cripple for all along and made her believe that she was crippled, when the fact that he's probably just as strong as she is? What really is going to happen and to occur? Again, I'm just very, very curious about that, because again, at the current chapters of Unordinary, Seraphina is learning to fend for herself. I'm pretty sure that we're aware of this. Seraphina also is getting better. Like she's feeling more confident, which is funny because she just got ganged up by a bunch of supers, but that's going way beyond the point. And she's really confident because she trusts John, because she feels that John and them are in the same boat, but they're not. So what's going to happen when she finds out? I don't know. Oh, side note, if you got this far in my rant about John. John knows something with Amber. I'm completely confirmed that John is connected to Amber somehow in some way, but I do not know, and I can't wait to find out how, because, and this links up to the whole Remy part, which kind of is, it's not even disappointing, but it's sad. But Remy finds out that these low tiers are being injected by a serum that Amber has been providing. And again, as I said in one of my reviews, hopefully I'll remember to send the link down below, that they said it's like his ability just skyrocketed. Didn't we hear the same thing about John, in which he was actually a powerless person, but then he got extremely strong for no reason? So I'm very confirmed that he knows something about these serums. He knows something about Amber. And that's another reason why John's character has been less than satisfactory so far. But again, will he get better? What's going to happen? Honestly, John is a recipe for disaster, and he's going to not only end up losing everything, but a lot of stuff is going to get really serious when all the truth comes out, because it's this close to happening. But again, I'm just ranting. Let's go to the final point of the video, which is about Remy. Remy is more sad than really disappointed, because she's so obsessed with taking out Amber that she's neglecting herself. In the current chapters of Unordinary, Remy gets a lead of Amber, and they find a person by the name of Vulcan who has been selling serum to low tiers in order to wreak this havoc upon this town of Brandish. Which, again, I'm quite curious why Amber has been focusing on Brandish, maybe as a test guinea pig experiment, but let's get there. So Vulcan, the lady by the name of Aline, because what happened was Remy fights a lady by the name of Alana. because she was one of the supers that got injected with the serum. Remy asked Alana to lead her to the source of the serum. Alana talks with the source of the serum named Volcon. When she finds out she has no money, she kills her. But why death is so important here? Because Remy literally acts like it was okay, and it didn't faze her that someone just died, which is a little disturbing because one, someone just died, but then two, these are kids who probably haven't experienced much death. And the fact that a death of that caliber was unable to phase Remy, I'm a little concerned for her personally. Because she is so obsessed with revenge for her brother, which also Volcon might be the person who kills her brother. Hint, hint. But let's get there. We're almost there. We're almost there in a little bit. So Remy finds the source of the serum, and by the name of Volcon. Volcon kills the inability user, Alana, and Remy tries to go into the attack. She got dogged. Their whole team got dogged. It was absolutely a manslaughter in that way. But it's scary because Rem knows she's outclassed, but she is continuing as if she is. She's so oblivious to what's going on because she's so set on her goals that she is risking her life at a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous level, which concerns me. And I hope that someone stops her because she's going to get herself killed in this pace. She went up against a super tier, an elite tier, and she couldn't even touch her once. And rather than running away and knowing her abilities, Remy is getting clawed. Remy is getting splattered. Remy is burning alive, and she's just not affected by it because she's so fixated on Amber. And I really have to agree with Aizen because Aizen tells her we need to stop because this is getting serious. They barely escaped with their lives that day. What's going to happen if they do it again? Someone died in their own arms. Just died. It was real, which I like that part because it was real. And Remy is just like, we can still go after Amber. I really hope that someone stops her, or I really hope she comes to her senses because it's only going to get worse and worse. And she is going to follow the same path as her brother in the terms of death. And I hope that's not happening. But case in point, is Unordinary still a good read? Yes. Is there a lot going on? Yes. And it's a lot of work to find out because there's like 6 different plots, but they're all linked together directly and indirectly, and it's fun to see how that is. Will I continue to read Unordinary? Yes, and I will definitely do frequent reviews upon the webtoon. But if this is a webtoon, if you like fantasy and all that stuff and action, Unordinary is definitely the webtoon for you. All right, that is my video, or more of rant, about the entire current chapters of Unordinary. Hope you like it. Thank you for listening and watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.